everyone, I'm Letty Fendenay of Organized by Letty, and I wanted to talk to you today about sorting and organizing school supplies and office supplies. So I'm going to show you my process for editing and sorting through the different types of supplies that you might have, how to make decisions about what to keep and what not to keep, and then I'm also going to show you some various ways of storing them. So let's get started. I've already started with my notebooks. So these are notebooks that the kids will use for school, and I have two piles because one is wide rule and one is college rule. And then here I have some binders, and so what I'm going to sort is on this side of the table, school supplies, on this side of the table, office supplies. I do feel like there is a little bit of a difference. How you store them separately or together really depends on your space that you have and also how you're going to use these items. So let's get started. So these are pretty much how I store my school supplies and office supplies, is in these 12 by 12 by 12 bins because I have shelves that these fit on. So pencil sharpeners can go in one pile, markers, all types of markers can go together. Unless you want to separate like washable versus permanent, which might be a good idea, because then if you send your kid to go look for markers, you can say, you know, send them in the right direction so they're not picking out permanent ones when you want them to have washable. Pencils, you can just put them all together or separate them by lead, you know, like number 2 pencils or mechanical pencils. These are all these little pockets for putting in binders. So I'm going to set these on top of the binders. These are book covers, and I have them in their own little pouch. So that's definitely a school supply. And then my glue is already in a pouch, but we've been using some of it and not putting it away properly. So, and we're going to stick some of that back in here. And again, you could separate glue sticks versus school glue, or you can just store it all together. I think it really comes down to a personal preference and how you want that to be. So, one thing that you can do with the markers and the pens to maybe, you know, decrease some of your stash a little bit is to have your kids sit down and test them out for you. It's a great job for them, and they probably have someone in your family who would enjoy doing that. So I found a little pouch of school supplies that needs to be sorted from the end of the school year. I'm sure you guys will run across this too. So we got pens, permanent markers, and more pens, pencils, another pencil sharpener, and these are colored pencils, rulers. So this is like, I feel like you could put pencil sharpeners, rulers, calculators, those types of things all together because you probably won't have as many of them. And maybe scissors, a calculator, and then these are all highlighters. As you can see, my bin has somewhat been sorted already, but what happens is sometimes we have to go through things again. This is all erasers. And you can see I'm using Ziploc bags to separate the various things that are in my bin. So that's one way that you can sort things. So now as I'm looking at all of this and I see them all together, I can really go, you know, wow, I really have a lot of markers. Do I really need all of these markers? Well, I have the broad tip markers, the fine tip markers, and then these are ones that have been used, which I should probably go through these and see if they'll work. So I'm going to set these aside. These are my Sharper poster markers that they use for school projects, so I'm going to keep those. And my highlighters, I probably check these and make sure that they all work. So I'm going to set that over here as well. Let's see here. All of these pouches. I probably don't need this many. So I'm gonna keep my favorite ones and I'm gonna donate these two. And then let's see. These calculators, I've had them for a while. The boys are using the larger calculators now, and I have a couple other smaller calculators, like one in my junk drawer, one in my desk drawer. So these can be donated. So that's kind of a way that you can process what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep. These are pencil grips. I no longer need these. These would be a good donation item. So I'm just gonna bring up my office supplies, and I'm not gonna sort through all of this, but I just want to show you how I differentiate for myself what's a school supply, what's an office supply. So in here I have tape, which I feel like is an office supply, although sometimes some school lists will require you to have that, but I don't think that's going to be something that's on the school list this year. A paper punch, post-it notes, which, fun little side note, post-it notes are my favorite office supplies. I feel like there's so many uses for them. Now I have 2 bags of these, so I'm just putting them all together, and then I can get rid of this bag because it's kind of in rough shape. And this is another thing of markers that I need to go through, but there was a highlighter in here, so I'm going to add that to the highlighters, a pencil, a pen, and a scissors. Now I want to hang on to a couple pairs of these scissors because I have nieces and nephews, but I can probably get rid of 1 pair. This is going with the highlighter, and these are all my markers that I need to test and see if they're still good. Because why hang on to them if they're not? I've got index cards, staples, extra staples. Alright, so I'm going to stop there just because for time's sake. I feel like, you're going to have some office supplies stashed in a desk drawer where it's handy, maybe a junk drawer if it makes sense. Like in your kitchen, most people have a junk drawer with batteries and paper clips and rubber bands and things like that. So anyways, again, you're going to just downsize by saying, we never use these, so we're going to get rid of those. Or, I don't need 2 full Ziploc bags of post-it notes. I'm going to bless someone with some. So these are my extra office supplies and not the ones that I'm currently using. And so for me, I'm separating them based on use. This is stuff I would come to if I'm like low on these things in my desk drawer. These are things I'm coming to replenish my kids' school supplies. So now let's talk about ways that we can organize these things and keep them handy. So like I was saying, I have these 12 by 12 by 12 bins. And these are great, and I use Ziploc bags and just kind of keep this stuff stashed in here, and this one's labeled school supplies. Another great bin size for storing school supplies if you have shelving is these clear plastic bins, and I call this size the sweater size bin. The smaller size I call the shoebox bin. That's just kind of how I differentiate what the size is. But this is another great way to sort and store school supplies. You could keep all the writing stuff in here. And then when it comes to storing the paper items, these types of files might work really well for that. Or maybe you would need like a larger bin, depending on how many notebooks and stuff you like to keep on hand. So like I could make this one the college ruled bin and put the college rule loose leaf and the college rule notebooks in here, and that could even be like one child stuff. I could have this be, for example, my older son, he's my college ruled kid, so I could have this as his favorite color, green, and then maybe he needs a binder. Actually the binder doesn't fit in there. So you could do it like that as well. There's lots of different options out there for storing school supplies. You just need to find something that fits what you have and then fits the storage space that you're going to keep it in. Well, I hope that I helped you to see my process for how I sort through things, how I make decisions about what to keep, what not to keep, and gave you some good ideas for storing your stuff. Good luck this upcoming school year, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.